What's up, gameronies, and welcome to a tier list on all of the Five Nights at Freddy's games. This is a pre-made one by someone, but as you can see here, I made my own uh text. But here are all the games that they've got lined up for us, and I'm gonna rank them all because it's gonna be fun. I'm gonna be posting two videos. This is gonna be a pretty long one about I'm gonna explain how I feel about all the games. So if you guys don't care for how long this video is, then I'll be releasing a new one that will be much shorter and it will just be a general description of the game and how I feel towards it and then ranking it. But it's gonna be a longer video because Five Nights at Freddy's over the years has developed a lot and I've grown up with it. So this tier list will be very personal to me and I've been day one, So don't take my opinions pretty lightly because I know a lot about this game. But without further ado, let's jump in. Please subscribe, like, and whatever. And yeah, let's start off with Five Nights at Freddy's 1. So how do I feel towards this game? This game was definitely the one that started all, and as a game, it was great because even though it was very lacking compared to games now, for a 2014 game, it was great. And just alone, it kickstarted a whole new genre where you're supposed to survive in the office and blah blah blah. And as a game like that, I remember playing the original Slenderman games back in 2014, 15, and it was really fun. But then when I saw Five Nights at Freddy's, man, it was a game that I loved immediately because it was such a cool concept how you're basically on the defense mode in the office and you're attacking stuff and they were getting attacked by animatronics. Such a cool idea. And this game, the first one, definitely introduced a lot of lore with all the different pictures in the game and all the different secrets they can unlock. And it was a very terrifying game. I remember watching Markiplier play it and then I played it and I remember how cool the game was. And as a starter game, it was pretty fun because definitely a game that I don't despise. It's definitely not one that I would say is really good nowadays compared to other games. But I'd say if I was gonna play Five Nights at Freddy's game for nostalgia, it would either be this or Five Nights at Freddy's 2 because this game is top tier for the first one. And if I miss anything, by the way, you guys can add in the comments. But as the first Five Nights at Freddy's game, I would probably rank it because it's the first game. I would rank it up there with the top because it's the first game that kickstarted everything, and as a first game, they executed it great, and all of the mechanics were so fine tuned, and I loved it. So I'll definitely say it's up there with the top, but that's only because of the nostalgia, lore, and everything. But going to FNAF 2, this game definitely I had a big switch up when I saw this game. I remember how cool the first game was, but then when I saw the trailer for this game and then when I played it, immediately this game was so much better. A lot of people now to this day agree that Five Nights at Freddy's 2 was probably one of their favorites, and it's for good reason. It's a really interesting concept where there's no doors and it's just a music box, and it's so fine tuned with, there's so many mechanics like Foxy, like making sure, you can't keep your mask on forever. It was like the perfect mix of everything, the flashlight was still there, you can still look around your office, everything, and this game started a lot of the lore for a lot of people because Final Fantasy Freeze 1, yeah, it had some lore, but not really. This game had so many secrets. Shadow Bonnie, the Dee Dee or whatever, or BBJJ, whatever it's called. They had there's so many different things like the Endo and the Vent. They had all the different posters and designs, and I remember watching videos from all the YouTubers breaking down oh, Chica's here, secret, this game really started it for a lot of people and got them into Five Nights at Freddy's. It was such a fun game, compared to a lot of the other games that they've played. Because this game, it definitely, I have to agree that to this day, this game is still one of the best Five Nights at Freddy's games. This is probably the best one out of all the four originals. And it's for good reason too, because it was just such a good game for just being the second one, and I really liked all the mechanics in it, and it definitely felt like a great game for only being the second one. And it had great jump scares, great mechanics, and you know, might be pretty controversial, but I would probably rank it as definitely one of the best games. Like that's why I have the S there because I'll put multiple there. But I know, but I'm only ranking it there because it's you know, as a second game it was great. It was all that you wanted as a second game, and that's basically for that one. So, Final Fantasy 3. This is where we get controversial. By the way, this tier list will definitely be really controversial, and you guys might yell at me, but a risk I'm willing to take because, you know, my opinions. Anyway, Five Nights at Freddy's 3. Well, what do I feel about this game? Well, I definitely do got to admit that it was a game that a lot of people didn't enjoy because it had some mechanics that people didn't obviously enjoy. And I don't agree with some of the hate, but I do agree with most of it because ugh, sorry about that. Because most of the game is just the same. It's Springtrap coming down the hallway or whatever. You do the audio lore, reboot the systems, and that's basically it. And doing like how many nights were there? Seven, eight, whatever. Like it was so tiring and so boring and annoying. That's why a lot of people didn't like it. And here's a fun fact: that it was the Final Fantasy 3 was supposed to be the last game, but since it was so bad, they brought out Five Nights at Freddy's 4 here afterwards. So in the end, it's probably better that it was a bad game because it wouldn't have been the last one. But anyway, one thing that I really find interesting that this was the first Five Nights at Freddy's game where you can basically move around the office. Like you can't move around the office, but you can move to the left and right. You had more freedom than in the other first one and two, and you couldn't see both sides of your office immediately. You can only see the cameras, and then if you look to the left, you can see the reboot thing and the door. I thought that was a really cool idea, and the like Scott Cawthon definitely worked a lot into this game because it was really well thought out with all the rebooting and the animatronics and whatever. I definitely agree that it was, you know, well, like much better thought out than all of the other games, but it just didn't link with a lot of people. I do have to admit, this game was definitely up there with the lore. Like the lore is insane. Like Final Fantasy 3 is like one of the best games for lore. Like because they had different random like rare screenshots where it showed Springtrap trying to escape and whatever, like from the suit. There were mini games that you got to play with Balloon Boy and Mangle and everything, and like getting the secret ending, the good ending and whatever. There were so many good secrets. Like this game was packed with lore, and that's one of the reasons why Final Fantasy 3 still has a big place in my heart, and that's because of the lore, and because it was such a meme game with the community. Because when it first came out, I remember all the memes where it's like, Springtrap just walks up to you and goes, "Hey, what's up, bro?" Like the jump scare wasn't scary at all, and that kind of sucks, but it was still a good time. And if it was up to me, I'll definitely put it psych playable. It's a playable game, but not something that I would you know play again. Actually, no, I probably would because it's still a good game. Oh, I probably should have added a scary category, scary and good. Let's change this one to scary and good. Anyway, Five Nights at Freddy's 4. This game, if I said Five Nights at Freddy's 3 changed it all, this game changed it all. Because, oh, holy crap, bro. I remember looking at this game and watching Markiplier play it. The first night isn't that bad in your games, remember that scene? But, anyway, I remember watching him play and I just thought to myself, there is no way I'm playing this game. This game, quite literally, was the scariest thing, like, ever, bro. Like, seriously, there is absolutely no way they thought that was a good idea. Like, when I say that, I mean it was a great idea to make the game, but oh my god, the models and everything. Like Scott Cawthon, bro. Like what are you seeing in your nightmares, man? Like this game, as a fourth game, this game probably had the most like the lore made the most sense in this game. You know, it was easier to understand. You looked at the story of the crying child. I forgot his name, with the bite of 87 or 83 or whatever. I don't remember what it was, and it was such a crazy story. I remember my first reaction when I watched Markiplier play it, and there was a bite of 87. You know, it was such a crazy like incident. You know, I felt like the whole world was at shock when it first came out. I remember everyone's reaction to it. And everyone's reaction, I also remember when they figured out that this game was the first one in the series where you can actually pick and move where you're going. Seriously, that is insane. Being able to run to the closet, the left and right door and turn around was revolutionary at that time for Five Nights at Freddy's games. And I remember seeing it, I'm like, oh my god, this is the first step in a new, like, cool genre Five Nights at Freddy's type thing, you know? And I thought how cool it was to have like a basically it's not free roam but click and point and click adventure type of game. And it was so scary, and I love how it's like 5 days to the party and it counts down to the party, and that's when the bite of 87, you know. And the game had 8 nights, by the way, so not exactly the easiest game, but all of the Easter eggs, all of the sounds. It was a very hard listening game where it was a little scummy. They had to turn your sound up all the way just so you can hear Freddy breathing down your neck or whatever. But mm, it was it was definitely really fun as a game because like it was really scary. It was probably the scariest one by far because the animatronics looks terrifying, and I like the gimmick where you have to shine the flashlight at Foxy, just like in the second game. They brought it back, and all the Easter eggs were great with all the mini games and everything. And I loved a lot of it actually. It was great. So for this game, I would put it up there with the top, but I would say scary and good because it's really, really scary. It's definitely up there with the top for the lore, but for me, the gameplay wasn't like it wasn't as fun as the other games, probably because of how scary it was. Nowadays, it's still pretty scary and it's pretty terrifying, but you know. And now up to one game that is I feel like is an underdog and one of my personal favorites. And I know this might sound crazy, but this game I actually started replaying it like a month ago, and then I stopped because I forgot about the game, even though it was really fun. I need to play it more. But FNAF World, when it first came out, I remember watching Dan TDM play, like, and there was a rainbow attacking you and whatever, and I thought, wow, that game's so cool. I really wish I could play it, but I didn't have a PC, you know? Oh no, but I think I did play it on like a laptop, my dad's laptop. That's funny. But when it first came out, I thought, wow, this is weird. There's no way this is the next Five Nights at Freddy's game. And obviously, it was connected to the lore, but it wasn't an actual true game. It was more of just an RPG side game that Scott wanted to work on, and I give him props. It's a very fun game, and if you guys haven't played it, download it on Game Jolt. Scott Cawthon. It's actually really fun for a free game. Seriously, it's I had a really good time with it. You know, like definitely it was a great time. That's like all the RPG elements and everything where like you can pick different characters. There's so many unlockable like mini cute characters with like then they dance and whatever. It was such a like a cutesy art style. Like, you know, there wasn't really a true horror part in the game. Some of the models did look pretty scary, but you know, this game was a really good time, and I liked it's a pretty long game as well. And for that, I definitely have to put it here, up there with the top. I know that sounds crazy, but this game was really good. I actually really like FNAF World. I said this video is gonna be controversial, so you know, yell at me in the comments. But anyway, next is Sister Location. This game, this game was trash. No, I'm kidding. This game was great. I remember this game a lot because it came out around 2016, right? And like I remember playing it, but as well as watching. I think I watched Dan TDM play it, or it was Marco play. I think it was Dan TDM, but he played Sister Location. I remember watching it. It was such a fun experience. It was one of them. Maybe it was Jacksepticeye. I don't remember, but I remember when they were playing it. I think I watched all of them play it. But it was like I always thought when I first saw it, that's when my mind like blew up. Like I saw the fact that I saw like the character moving, starting off in an elevator, and you have to crawl through a vent, then you get to go to different parts of the location, connected with all different new like animatronics and lore. It was mind blowing at the time for literally everyone. It was such a good game. Like definitely up there with like the top because it was let's put it up now, up there with the top. This game, like, I definitely have to agree that this game revolutionized a lot of things. That I really enjoyed all of it, and how Circus Baby wasn't actually talking to us, and it was so interesting. You know, like I can't hate on the game because it was so fun. It was such an interesting concept where you can crawl through stuff, and actually this game was the first game where it was kind of free roam because you could walk wherever you wanted in some of this parts. And I liked all the segments, all the secret areas, like the private room and everything. It was so cool. And for that, obviously, it'll go up there with the top. And next game, Pizza Sim. This is an interesting part for me because before I say my feelings on it, I'm just gonna explain how this game was pretty interesting. So I don't remember that much of it because the last time I played it was like 2019, I think. Came out in like 2017, right? 2018. And it was a much different game from a lot of it. Like there was like that pizza game, that pizza mini game they start off with, and then you have to do the checklist with the animatronics, so they kill you if you don't look up in time. And it was a pizzeria sim. You got to design your own pizzeria and you get money. And then and at night, you have to do the tasks on the computer without getting attacked. I found it really cool how if you don't salvage any animatronics for like thousands of dollars, they don't attack you ever. So every single night when you do the task, you're fine, you're safe, nothing attacks you. You can beat the whole game with no jump scares or anything, but you also, you don't make much money. But I really like that idea. You can either salvage them, get a lot of money, but have a risk at night and be, scared, or they jump scare you and like stuff like that. Or you can play it safe but not make as much money. I really like that idea because it was really cool. And as a game for that, like it was definitely one that I found really fun to watch. But then to play, it was I don't know. The thing is, I don't think I've ever really watched to the end of the game before because it wasn't that good, Like to this day, I still feel like Pizzeria Sim was kind of lacking compared to all the other games. It was just not like as good, as a game as I wish it could have been. So for that, I'm gonna put it at playable. It's playable, but it's meh, Not something that, by the way, I do have to admit the lore in this was really good as well. And there were so many cool elements in it. So, can't hate on it for that, but I can hate on the gameplay because the gameplay is, you know, eh. But anyway, Ultimate Custom Night Time. This game, oh my god, dude. I remember watching Dan Turin play this all the time, streaming and whatever. Like, I loved this game. And before I even start talking, this is up there with the top already. Because this game was great. And I got to admit, really good game. But anyway, Ultimate Custom Night, obviously custom night game where you had the different objectives. And I remember Dan TDM playing it, and I also played it. I think I played it on phone and on computer, but like it was laggy because I played it on laptop. But I was actually pretty good at it on phone. On phone, actually, I remember the reason I played on phone is because my phone vibrated every single time an animatronic, like before an animatronic attacked, like a second before my phone would go booze, and then I get attacked. So no more. I wouldn't really get scared at the jump scares since I know when they're coming. But you know, as a game, it was great. watching people play it, playing it yourself, it's such a fun time. All the challenges are really good, or you can just go in, pick whatever you want and what difficulty. It was basically all the Five Nights at Freddy's games custom night, but with every single animatronic, or most of the animatronics. I did miss out a lot of them, but most of them were in there. And I loved stuff like all the creative ones and all the stuff that was in the game. Like after beating the knights, like that point system where it like it like counts up. That was really fun to watch. But the cutscenes were a little cringe. They looked weird to say, especially that Chica one. But the Japanese or whatever Foxy one with Freddy was pretty funny. I like that one. But the game had a lot of work put into it actually, and a lot of people don't like. A lot of people liked it, but a lot of people didn't appreciate it because they said, "Ah, it's not really Freddy's game. It's just a custom night game," you know. And that pissed me off a bit because it was still a Freddy's game. It's just custom night, you know. And it was still a really fun time. Ha, fun time. You get it? Animatronic fun time. But it was still a really good time, and I remember playing this all the time, and I was actually pretty good at it. And it added, well, I don't know if you can call the cutscenes as lore, but and I one more thing I would like to add is the point system. If you get a high enough point, you can. Well, if you get high enough points, you can change your office, which I thought was really cool. So if you beat more animatronics, you get a better office. So that was really awesome, and I loved all the power ups and all the stuff. It was so cool, you know. And there was a temperature system in this game as well, so I actually really liked that as well. But anyway, Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted VR. Let me explain to you why this game was peak. Because this game, I definitely have to admit, when I first saw this game, I'm not even kidding with you, I had a nerd fit. Seriously. Because I always wanted a VR when this first came out in 2019, I think. And I didn't get one until 2024, so, a little late to that. But I when I saw my favorite characters in VR, and when I got to play it the first time in 2020, I think it was, or maybe 2020, in 2019, I don't remember, but I got to play it like at like a party, and dude, mm, I freaked out. But if you guys never played the game, then seriously, it's such a scary game in VR. And I still have it. Obviously, I played it on the channel. If you guys want more of it, let me know in the comments. And I'll do more VR videos soon, gang. So just let me know. But as a as a VR game, it was so good. Like seriously, I couldn't really ask more than it. Like in one game, I know it costs like $40, but like in one game, you got FNAF 1, FNAF 2, FNAF 3, FNAF 4. You got Vent Repair, you got Parts and Service, you got like Night Terrors and like the Flashlight game and whatever. You got so many games in one. And I like that idea so much because like you paid $40 Australian and you got so many games for it and it's I know I understand a lot of them were reused games but like from the first originals but it was still such a cool like time to look at all the Five Nights at Freddy's like animatronics and jump scaring you and everything and I loved the switch and when you pulled the switch and you went into the other side or whatever you want to call it with the and then you verse you know what I mean like when you pulled the switch in this game after you complete let's say you complete night one and Five Nights at Freddy's 1 if you pulled the switch you can play the Five Nights at Freddy's 1 night 1 again but in a twisted mode and all of these had that so if you complete one like game you can play in another version but it's much harder because it's darker and scary and whatever and I really like that idea and this was the first game that introduced glitch trap. Yep, you heard that right, glitch trap. This was the first game, right? Yeah. This was the first game they introduced him and it was a good way to introduce him and all the tapes provided so much lore and like the ending was good and everything. Like it was such a cool game and I love like everything that has to do with it. Scott really did a really good job on it. I remember everyone saying that it's their favorite Final Fantasy Freddy's game yet when it first came out, and I don't disagree with them. So I definitely have to put it at definitely best game because it was great. And as a VR game, it definitely revolutionized a lot of things. Anyway, Now for the other one, which is the Curse of Dreadbear VR game, which is an add-on. It's not too happy. It's $15, even though you already pay 40 for the. Actually, no, on the MetaQuest store you get both for 40, so you know that's fair. But usually on Steam you have to pay extra money just to be able to play the Curse of Dreadbear, which I know it's DLC, but it should have been like Ruin where it's free. But anyway, I can't really speak to this game that much because I have never played it myself, and I didn't really watch that many YouTubers play it because I don't know, I don't remember, but I do remember a lot of the things. I remember there's one where you knock on the door and you have to, or they knock on the door and you have to select the mask and you have to like to. It was a really scary like DRC. I remember like I was petrified to even watch it, bro. Like it was freaking terrifying, and this was also first, like, I don't know if you can call it a game, first add-on or game that introduced Dreadbear, and it was so cool. And actually, this DLC introduced move like free movement, free roam basically in one of the mini games. You have to go like you're in like a maze and you have to avoid the animatronics so you can move wherever you want using the joystick in VR. I thought that was really cool. And since I haven't really played that much, I would put it with scary and good because this was still a good time, and I should definitely play it probably at some point. But it had really good ideas, you know. Alright, Five Nights at Freddy's Special Delivery. Oh wait, what happened to my window capture? No, hold on, guys. Let me fix this. Give me a sec. Anyway, sorry guys. I don't know what happened, but it went black for some reason. I don't know how long that's been for, so sorry about that, guys. But anyway, if it went black earlier, this is what we're up to. If you guys heard, that's the tiers so far. But anyway, we're up to Five Nights at Freddy's Special Delivery AR, and I don't know how to feel about this game. I think I've only played this game once, and I thought it was a cool idea. Being able to see them in your room and you have to do different stuff and they jump scare you. It's really cool. I should probably re-download it and give it another go. But being honest, I didn't really enjoy this game. It was pretty mid. It was just pointing your phone at the wall or whatever and what shining your light or something. I don't remember. It was a really cool idea, and I loved how it made your screen like darker, like it was actually nighttime. But it would have worked better if it was obviously like a VR game, you know. But we already had VR, and this, I don't know, would I call it a mainline finance phrase game? Not really, but at the same time, kind of, because I mean, yeah, it released on phone, so at least it was free and more accessible to the people that, you know, wanted to play some Finance Freddy's games. But like the game itself wasn't very fun, and I really didn't like care about it that much. Maybe it's because I haven't played it in years, and maybe I've forgotten about it. But I don't know. I remember it being just mid, and I didn't like care for it that much. So for me, like it's definitely a playable game, but for me, I would probably rather get bashed by an animatronic than play this game. Not because it's bad, it's just mid. And I know there's a playable thing, but I feel like it's a little worse than playable, you know? Uh no, it's playable. Cuz it's not terrible. Alright. Here comes the games that definitely changed a lot of things for me, and this is the one I'm probably gonna blabble on for the most, like all of these games. So get ready, gang. Mm. Got some water ready? Please subscribe before I start. And anyway, let's start off with Security Breach. Oh, Security Breach. This game, immediately best games. Before I even do anything, this is immediately up there with the best games. This game, when it first launched, probably even this is probably the second most revolutionary FNAF game. And I know you're probably like, what do you mean? I mean, this is probably the first Finance Freddy's 1 because you know it revolutionized the whole gaming industry and how games are played. I remember, but anyway, this game was insane. Like okay, I did buy it for $60 like 2 years later after it came out in 2022, but oh, it's a really good game, and it's like 20 hours long or something. I don't remember, but I remember watching Fusion Z Gamer play, and it was like, dude, the first 10 minutes of it, I'm already like, okay, this game's about to be sick. And, dude, I don't even know where to start, man. Glamrock Freddy and all the Glamrock animatronics, such a really cool idea. And how you can hide in his stomach hatch so no animatronics detect you. Insane idea. Such a cool idea. This game was the first free roam game in Five Nights at Freddy's history, and that's what was insane for a lot of people because you got to walk around, and this time you can kind of defend yourself, you know, because you had the Phaser Blaster and the Fast Cam. You can, you know, defend yourself or hide, and they had like they ran after you and they had voice lines. Voice lines were so cool, and they talked to you, and your character still talked. And it's like you go near Roxy, and she's like, "I see you" or whatever, you know. And dude, the watch was really cool with the map being on your watch and all the objectives. And this game, I know there's objectives in this game and stuff, but you can basically pick what you wanted to do. You can walk and wander wherever you wanted to, if you really wanted to. And there was so like I love the staff robots where if you get too near they alert them. It was such a cool idea. I really loved the whole Pizzaplex. It was terrifyingly cool. And there was so many levels to all of it. There was so many cool stuff. There was the atrium. There's so many areas. The Vanessa being Vanny was also really cool. The first game, by the way, they introduced Vanny, just letting you know. And by the way, Vanessa's jump scare, like the normal one with that being Vanny, you know, it's really funny. But anyway, it was, oh, dude, this game, man, like, it was so freaking good. Like, I remember watching it. I watched every single episode of Fusion Z Gamer, all the breakdown videos, everything. I remember watching the trailer for it and thinking, wow, this game's gonna be sick. And dude, like all the different things, like the little stuff, this game introduced so much lore, man. There was so much lore. Like seriously, like it was so much to handle as well. And it had like I loved how like you can decommission the animatronics like you have to, and that's how you get the different parts to upgrade Glamrock Freddy. And then they come after you and they do different jump scares and stuff. And then I love the different endings, man. There was so many of them. I got every single one actually. I remember I got the golden plushie one. I got all of them. I loved how you can leave at 6 a.m. where you can, you know, stay and try and find other endings. And I love that after that they updated the game and made it so there's a checkpoint part like afterwards if you choose to stay. I loved it. This game, man, for the first free roam game, definitely like insanely good. And if you even it's even worth playing today, man. Like seriously, if you've never played it, you should definitely play it or at least watch a video. Like it's worth it. It's such a freaking good game. Like definitely worth to play. Now let's move on to DLC Ruin. Uh this I actually never finished. I do have Ruin and I played like 20 minutes of it and then I had to go do something and then I just never picked it up again because not because it's bad. It was great DLC. I remember watching it and I was so excited. It's actually really fun DLC and for free. Not like in Help Wanted, yeah, you have to pay. No, this was free, which is great. And I'm really glad that they made it free, but it was I'm not gonna talk about how I didn't play it, not because it was bad, you know. I'm gonna talk about like my experience. I loved so many different parts of it. By the way, forgot to add in the first game, the boss fights and everything were awesome. But anyway, the boss fights, there were boss fights in this game as well, right? There were I don't remember that much from this game. It's been years since I've watched like people play it. So I do love the DLC and I do love this is the first game we get to see the Mimic. Yes. Dude, the Mimic was awesome, man. Obviously he came back in Secret of the Mimic, but the Mimic in this game, like I love how you try and find Gregory, but it's not Gregory, you know? And you know, at the end you can pick to see the Mimic in a suit, or you can just, you know, the Mimic as the animatronic attacks. You guys, I don't know if you guys get what I mean, but anyway, um, mm. Little side tangent. I'll probably be doing a video with jump scares, like ranking all the games about how good their jump scares were, or the jump scares or whatever. But just a little side note, this game probably has the best jump scares to date because the fact that that what's her name? What's the main character's name again? It starts with C, right? I don't remember. But she fights back. Wait, hold on. Let me search this up. Main character in security breach ruin. Wait, hold on. Ruin. Cassie, yeah. See, I knew it. I'm the best. Anyway, it's Cassie. So, Cassie fighting back against all the animatronics when they attack her is so cool. Like, I love how she like for example when Monty tries to like jump scare like bite down on her, she like puts her hands to like against his like teeth and whatever. Like it's so cool because she tries to fight back and you never see that happen in all the FNAF games. And I feel like since Security Breach had pretty okay jump scares and they were pretty good, this game was just so much better with the jump scares. And for an extra 5 hours for free DLC, I actually really liked it. So it's definitely going up to the top, up there with the top because it was pretty good and I really liked it. Anyway, Help Wanted 2. Before I even start, definitely the best games or game. Oh, this this game was great. I remember buying this for like how much was it? I think it was 50 something bucks, and it was a great time all the way through. If you guys thought the first one was good, oh my god, this game was so much better. It didn't really have any office things. It was all mini games like whack-a-mole, and they had like flashlight mini games all like working. It was really inspired by Security Breach as well, and for good reason as well because it came after Security Breach. But it was such a good sequel to the first VR game. Like it had it had some lore in it. Actually, no, it did have a lot. You get to play. Oh my god, I forgot. You got to play Princess Quest 4, right? Yeah, because I remember one of the endings in Security Breach was Princess Quest 1 to 3. I remember doing that actually. Yeah, and in this game you got to play the fourth one, but in VR, which was so cool. You get to move your sword and slash them and everything, and it was such a cool like version, of the Princess Quest games. And the ending with like Vanny and everything was so cool, and the new location where you go to for the second VR game was so cool as well. It's Oh my god, it was such a fun like time to play, and I enjoyed all of it. Like it was definitely a great game, you know? Like man, definitely I hope like I would probably say you should buy this instead of this. Unless you want to play it in order, obviously, and you have the money, because this game was like really, really good, And anyway, let's hop into second last game, which is into the sorry about that pit. Okay, into the pit. This game came out in 2024, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it did. And for a FNAF game, it was, in my opinion, a little underwhelming. It was just like an 8-bit pixel style game. It wasn't 8-bit, but like you know what I mean. Like it was a pixel style game with free roam, which I really liked. I did like the free roam, and I really liked the Pit Bonnie and all the characters were really cool. But I don't know, it felt a little lazy to me. Like Security Breach was out here, free roam, really cool. This was just like a basically like if you're playing an animation. But I did really like it. Like it was still a really fun game to watch Fusion Z Gamer play because two broke at the time to get the game. But I remember watching him play, and I did have a good time watching it, and I didn't hate it. But I'll probably rank it in between these, but I'm more siding between scary and good because this game, it was scary, it was good, it had some really good lore actually, like really good lore about like Fredbears and everything. It was such a cool game, and it had a lot of cool stuff. The jump scares are also pretty cool, and the main character is really cool, and all the different stuff. How you go back in time in the pit, it was really really awesome, and I like the idea for it. Now, before we get into the last game, which is Secret of the Mimic, as you should probably watch it. I played it on the channel like 10 days ago or whatever. But yeah, make sure you're subscribed because like 99% of you are. Scroll down and hit subscribe because you guys are gamers. You're the best. And anyway, comment down below because you're probably gonna be angry with me and like. Anyway, Secret of the Mimic. Probably my most controversial take on this channel that I will probably make, and I'm probably gonna keep this opinion for. Oh, did I open Windows? Whatever. Keep this opinion for ever, probably. Secret of the Mimic. This game, I have to admit, it was bloody awesome. Like, seriously, the whole idea of like the cranking mechanism with your mouse and all the new animatronics, like obviously Mimic was in there and he looked a little different from the first game, but you know, he the idea like with the doll and everything and the big top, it was so refreshing to see like non-Freddy characters. You know what I'm saying? It was the first like FNAF game to not include the original Freddy characters, which I found crazy, dude. Like the fact that they like didn't include it was great because it's been the same game for 10 years. And as someone who's been playing for a while, I'm pretty sick of it, the same stuff, and mm, everyone else is as well. And that's why everyone's hoping that the next one's going to be Secret of the Mimic. That's why everyone's saying this is their favorite game. But I'm different. It's up there with the top. I do admit that Security Breach is a better game than the Mimic. And before you guys yell at me, let me explain why, okay? So, the Secret of the Mimic was a great game. New, fresh characters, good atmosphere. Definitely, like all the rooms had really cool stuff in it. The graphics were great, and like all the ideas were really well executed, and it had like a lot of stuff. But there were a lot of cons I didn't like. Sometimes when you move the mouse, it just didn't work. Like because when you had to crank stuff and like move pieces, you had to move your whole mouse instead of just using the keyboard or the mouse clicker. Yeah, I know. Sounds weird, but it's really fun. But second, the jump scares. The jump scares sucked. And I understand there's a lot of suits for the Mimic, but even the jump scares, most of them were mid. Most of the Mimic jump scares last about, I'd say maybe like 3/4 of a second. Like seriously, look at the jump scare and you'll see like it barely lasts a second, and they're really mid. Like they end way too early, and at least the dolly one's somewhat okay. Big top is mid. It's just him putting like you in his like roller mouth or whatever. I do like the big top one where the hands grab you. I did really like that, but like this is the first game like free roam game after Ruin. They could have done what they did for the Ruin and had the person fight back. Like at least for some of them, like Jackie and stuff like that, but they didn't do that. And a lot of, and here that like I know you guys might say, oh, it's nitpicky to hate the jump scares, but that's definitely not the main reason why I dislike this game. This game, unlike Security Breach, which did have some of this, and this had a lot filler content. There was so much filler in this game to make sure that they could extend it. Like there were a lot of claw machine bits that take like 20 minutes to do. Just like, and I had to look at a walkthrough on how to do it because of how freaking hard it was. And there were so many parts in it. Like a lot of people like online, and I talked to a lot of people as well. They told me like they hated or like they disliked the Tiger Rocks part where he like teleports. It was such a long drawn out part. Like it was, I definitely like, dude. At least the true ending was like basically no filler. It was just all like good parts. But like the game had so much filler, and I didn't like some parts because I don't know. It just didn't. It wasn't as fun, you know, compared to like Security Breach, VR, like games as well. And I do hope the next Final Fantasy Freddy's game is Secret of the Mimic too, because seeing a variety in people is great, and I really hope they do that. And the lore in this game though was insane. This game probably had the most lore out of every single game, and for that, that's why I'm putting it up there with the top. And it's definitely one of my most favorite Final Fantasy Freddy's game, but I can't rate it as my favorite, man. I don't know, Security Breach just stole my heart. Maybe if I replay Security Breach, I feel like it won't be as good, but it was just such a good game. And, you know, this is the end of the video, and please subscribe. And anyway, I've been talking for the past 44 minutes, and my voice and my head, I'm lightheaded. This is the type of things I do for you guys, so please subscribe, please, bro. I'm like, please leave a positive comment or just argue with me in the comments about why this game is this. I don't mind. But, oh my god, my head hurts. I need to upload this video. Please just sub, bro. Like, oh, it would do so much for me. And like, anyway, I'll see you all the next one, and I'll be posting a 10-minute version of this probably, or 15-minute one at some point. So, I don't take up too much of your guys' time. But anyway, I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye, gameronies.